We had a senator in the last hour. We have a soon-to-be senator in this hour. Eric Hovde is with us here. He is running in Wisconsin, so no pressure, Eric. But if you lose, the Democrats may have Senate control, which will put a huge wrench into the gears for Trump transforming the country and doing amazing things. If you win, well, you're going to win. Tell us why. We're here in Wisconsin.
I'm going to win because Senator Baldwin is one of the most extreme liberals who votes with Joe Biden 95.5% of the time. She spent her entire life in politics, literally 40 years. She takes all kinds of special interest money. She's way out there on a social spectrum. I mean, she actually earmarked our taxpayer dollars to a transgender clinic to affirm kids that are doing that without notifying their parents. Now think of that.
It's crazy.
And that's our tax dollars. So look, I'm out there talking about issues that matter. Inflation, the cost of everybody's food, insurance costs, you name it, energy prices, housing costs going up. I'm talking about the border, the fact that we are losing 100,000 young people to fentanyl every year, the terrorist risk, the crime issues. All the issues that matter to the people of Wisconsin. So, I'm staying on the issues. I'm, working my butt off. I need all the help I can get. So you listeners, Wisconsin is it. That's why we're in this great state. If President Trump wins the state, he's got the presidency. If I win the Senate seat, we got control of the Senate, not just for 2 years, but probably 4, maybe even 6.
We spent yesterday with your hopeful, soon-to-be Senate colleague, Ron Johnson. And he was walking through how you win Wisconsin. He just won 2 years ago in a tough market, 2022, where they spent a lot of money against him. He's been outspoken on so many different issues. Frankly, both Buck and I believe he's been right on COVID almost better than anybody else has.
And we particularly love him because he comes on the show and references previous shows that he was just listening to.
Yeah, so he's a fan.
In radio world, you will be loved forever by any radio host. Like, I heard you talking last week about. Anyway, go ahead, Clay.
What he said is you have to go to all the communities. You said you just finished a big tour. What are you hearing when you go out into the quote unquote real world? We're in Milwaukee now. It's great. It's a city, but the heartbeat of Wisconsin is not in Milwaukee. It's in the community surrounding Milwaukee to a large extent. What are you hearing from them?
Look, a lot of the issues I just talked about, if you talk to Wisconsinites, and I did my RV tour, literally, I drove 1,600 miles. We went all the way up the East Coast to the north, all the way down the west, and drove all throughout the middle part of the state. You meet a lot of wonderful people. What are the issues that matter? They're getting hammered by inflation. Real wages have gone down under Joe Biden. So I don't care if it's food, if it's energy, it's whatever. People are being hammered. An older man stood up and said, I'm spending more and more and my life is getting worse. And that's just a reality. Second, the border and all what I call it, the rotten onion, the different layers of it, the crime problems, the terrorist risk problems, the fentanyl crisis. They can't account for 100,000 children. And I'm because my foundation and rescuing children out of the sex trade and what I do both in this country and around the world, I know that subject all too well. A lot of those children have ended up in the sex trade, which is disgusting. The other issues that people are talking about, healthcare. I wish Republicans would talk about this more. The access to healthcare is collapsing. The cost is just continually rising. And, President Obama, when he passed Obamacare, said, this will mitigate costs. It has done nothing like that. He said you'd be able to keep your family doctor. The family doctor has all but disappeared. So, healthcare is a big issue. And then if you're in a city like Milwaukee, because of the defund the police movement and the open border, crime is such a huge issue. I spend a lot of time in the black community, the Hispanic communities, and they'll tell you, I did a picnic in the park. And literally people were coming up and saying, we need the National Guard called out. I mean, it's crazy and it's sad. I mean, Milwaukee's a great city, as you can see. It's a little humid right now.
We well know.
Yeah. But it's supposed to clear out. But, it's a fun city. I mean, Summerfest, Brewers games, Bucks, all the rest. But, it's been hammered by crime. So that's another big talking issue.
Now, for anybody who is perhaps favorable toward Trump now, and talking about Wisconsinites, but is thinking to themselves, well, yeah, Trump, but I don't know. I've heard of Tammy Baldwin for a long time. So, maybe I just split ticket voters. Do you feel like that's a thing that could be an issue here in this state? And if it is, how would you convince them to come over to your side of the aisle?
There will be a very small amount of people that may do that because Senator Baldwin is a good chameleon. She runs in the state as a moderate. Her first ad, believe it or not, was talking about how she, worked a piece of legislation with President Trump. Now, that's the same woman who we literally, video is going viral right now of her talking about Donald Trump being one of the most dangerous men, that he cannot be made president. I mean, again, she's a progressive socialist. So, I don't think it's going to be a big number if it is a number at all. But, she does a good job as,
so
acting.
She plays both sides of it. That's the thing. So you're here to tell everybody that, she tells Wisconsinites, don't worry, I'm normal. I'm just like you. Then she goes to D.C. and she's a commie like the rest of them.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. And frankly, she lives a good chunk of her time up in New York with her partner, who's a wealth manager to the uber wealthy and the private equity set. And yet she rails on Wall Street. She takes money from Wall Street. Her girlfriend is, the heart of Wall Street. But, she comes back here and says, oh, I'm fighting against Wall Street. It's just, she's dripping with hypocrisy. Somebody's been doing an ad, probably supporting my campaign, calling her Tammy Two-Face. That is a perfect definition of who Tammy Baldwin is.
We're talking with, hopefully, the next senator from Wisconsin, Eric Hovde. The vice president is the talk of the day. Reports are that tonight at the convention, Trump is going to bring out his vice president. What do you think's going to happen? How would you analyze this? The final four, according to Martha McCallum, Doug Burgum, Marco Rubio, Glenn Youngkin sliding in there maybe a little bit by surprise, and then J.D. Vance. Of those four, how would you assess the decision, and how much do you think the VP pick matters, particularly coming on the heels of certainly an assassination attempt, which feels like, it's Monday.
It's a lot of things. It's also an important reminder for the power and the need for the power of a strong VP pick and the need for a strong VP pick.
100%. And look, President Trump will only have one more term as president. So this is a huge pick. To me, the most important thing is that whoever he picks, and all four gentlemen meet this test, that there's confidence that that person can step up and be the president of the United States. That's the problem that the Biden administration has. Not only is he lost his marbles and is incapable to do it, but nobody has confidence in Kamala Harris.
Yep.
So, look, we were just talking about Governor Bergman. I think he'd be a great guy. He built a fantastic company, Great Plains.
Wait, do you think it's going to be Doug Burgum?
I'm thinking it is. I'm leaning that way.
We get a lot of emails and callers, by the way. We get people that are Burgum people, but I will tell you this. We also get North Dakotans who say he's a little squishy on some of the issues, and he's a little bit of a moderate. We could have you sit here and just take calls for the next hour.
Wow.
From North Dakotans who are like, he wasn't good on COVID. And I'm just saying, we get the heat. We always get the heat.
When you have these finalists, it's not only people advocating for their guy, because it does look like the final four are all guys.
Oh, they throw elbows.
They throw elbows at everybody else. So it's like, you're not even saying, like, somebody might call in and say, hey, I'm a J.D. Vance guy. They don't say that. They're like, this is why it can't be that guy.
That guy's a rhino. I'm like, wait, I thought we were all in the nest. I thought this is a trust tree. We're all friends.
So you mean politics is a contact sport?
Yeah, it gets a little nasty. Speaking of contact sports, by the way, we're going to be with you. We cannot wait to help you directly. We're going to be in Madison, Wisconsin. We're doing the show live on September 13th, I believe, the Friday before Alabama, Wisconsin in Madison. You are a diehard Badger fan. How much are you looking forward to that game? I hear that it's already like kind of bedlam for that weekend, even trying to get hotel rooms, places to stay. It's going to be madness.
It's going to be fantastic. That is going to be fantastic.
What's Buck going to see there? Because he's never been to a Big Ten. Have you ever been to a Big Ten football game ever?
Unless you've taken me to it.
Okay. I've never been to
Look, I'm not saying this just because I'm Big Ten. The Big Ten are by far the best football experiences. Some of the SEC, but
he's wrong. It's the SEC, but I'll let you.
No, the size of the stadiums. Look, I can't stand Michigan, but you go into that house, you go into Ohio State, the vibe, all the rest. You will love Camp Randall, and you're going to love how it's set up in a community and the bars and the brats and all the rest. I mean, you guys are going to absolutely have a blast.
I can't wait.
So and Madison's a beautiful, beautiful city. So yeah, we're going to do it from the top of one of the buildings I own there that has this fantastic view of the Capitol.
Is there like a special cheer, like scratch him like a badger or something? Like,
no, you just better be ready to jump around at the end of the third quarter.
You know about this?
No,
you know the song "Jump Around."
I've heard of, yes, yeah. I grew up in the 90s. I know what Jump Around song is.
So tell them about the tradition.
At the end of the third quarter, they play Jump Around, and literally everybody in that stadium is just jumping and jamming, and even the players down there, even the opposing team players sometimes do it. It's funner than all get out. So, yeah, no, you guys better be ready to drink some, because you know us Wisconsinites know how to drink. I mean, we're professional drinkers.
Cypress Hill or House of Pain?
Jump Around.
House of Pain.
House of Pain.
Oh, look at that.
House of Pain. Thank you. 90s hip hop.
There you go. You just so we're going to be ready to drink. You know what we just had? Buck just had his first. I didn't know that Wisconsin had a special kind of old fashioned. Well, I didn't know that you guys had your own.
We got to be careful here. He talked smack about mint juleps before we went to Kentucky Derby.
I'm a huge fan of an old fashioned, but I didn't know Wisconsin had its own version.
I just did a funny video of doing a brandy old fashioned, which is what most Wisconsinites and certainly what I grew up drinking. And now a lot of people drink bourbon old fashions, which I've moved to. But yeah, we have our own unique way of doing it. But this is the home of the old fashioned. Frankly, per capita, I think we probably drink more than any state in the country.
Wisconsin drinks more alcohol than any state in the country.
Well, it's rather cold here, from what I understand, in the winter.
You know, you gotta learn how to be experts at the indoor sports.
We'll come back and do snowshoeing sometime when he's the senator. We'll go snowshoeing with the senator.
September in Madison
will be
beautiful. Is going to be incredible.
It'll be beautiful. It'll probably be 72 degrees, blue sky. It's going to be fantastic. Unfortunately, we just got a really rainy, stormy summer this summer. It's supposed to clear out, but man, did you see that lightning last night?
Oh yeah, last night it was crazy here.
It was a big ass storms rolling.
And people got deluged. They were coming into the hotel like everybody was out walking because it's hard to move around in cars, and it looked like the heavens completely opened up on them.
We had a lot of, I just thrown this out there. Usually Clay says this, but I like to say it too. We're number one in Milwaukee on the radio at this time. Thank you, WISN. So, get a lot of people listening in this state, and we got other stations throughout the state too, but we're here in Milwaukee. Where should folks go? Because I think so go with Hovde, so go with the Senate. That's really, I'm going to put my marker down right now.
I love it, Buck. I love it. So, Eric Hovde, and Eric is with a C, ERIC, Hovde, HOVDE.com. Please contribute, man. I need everybody's help.
There we go.